Hi guys, it's Megan and Lisa, psychic medium here. I am going to be doing more talks again on YouTube. I have been focusing a lot on Instagram, and I've decided I need to come back to YouTube too. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about some misconceptions that a lot of people float around in regards to how the spirit world works. And one of those misconceptions is that you have to wait 6 months to a year to connect with a spirit person that's passed over. That's not the case. They actually can connect immediately if given the opportunity. However, it's more so that the person that's grieving and in mourning, they're the ones that need the time. They're the ones that need 6 months to a year a lot of times before connecting with their loved one because they have been in such grief. And through that sort of frequency, that very heavy sort of frequency with grief, it can be difficult to connect. It's not impossible, but it can be difficult, and it can make it so that not as much information's able to come through at the time. It just depends on the situation. And I think personally, it's a good idea to wait until you have had your grief lift at least a little before trying to connect, so that you have the best experience that you can have in regards to connecting with your loved one through a medium. So that I want to clarify because I have heard it recently floating around this concept of that you have to wait because it's not possible, and that has been disproven by many a medium over time, that their spirit person has come through, even sometimes before they even knew that they had passed. So just throw that out of your mind and of your thinking as far as that's what the law is in regards to connecting with a spirit person. The next thing I want to talk about is the idea that spirit people get stuck here on the earth plane. I know there's a lot of rescue circles and a lot of this sort of idea that people are stuck here in this realm. And I have never found that to be the case. I have never had an experience where I've felt that from a spirit person, not ever. And I think a lot of it is a misconception. I think a lot of it is this idea that comes from the ego more so than it comes from the spirit person. Because the truth is that when we are feeling spirit or we're perceiving something from spirit, unless you're a trained medium and know how to be neutral, know how to move your mind out of the way, your mind always wants to color what is happening. It always wants to try to get in there and understand it. So because that happens, if you are perceiving something from a spirit person, a loved one that's passed over, that makes you feel that they're stuck for some reason, what's really happening is you're getting information and you're then interpreting it. You're then deciding that means that means they're stuck. When the reality is they're probably trying to tell you how it is they passed. They're trying to make you feel in your body or give you images to make you aware of what happened. Whereas for you, your interpretation might be, oh my God, something feels wrong here. It feels like they're stuck. And that's not the case because our spirits, our souls know what to do. And we have guides and helpers. We have loved ones on the other side, and they are always there to greet us. And if you listen to near-death experiences the way I do on occasion, because I find them fascinating, I really not heard of anyone feeling as though they're stuck on the earth realm. It's though that they're instantly transported into love, for the most part. I know there has been some near-death experiences where that maybe wasn't exactly their experience, but that once they realized what was going on, they were then transported to this very loving space of peace where they didn't necessarily want to leave. And that's where we come from. We come from this place of love, this reality where we don't have fear. We don't have the ego bonds or the things that hold us here. We don't have any of that anymore. So yes, we still are working on our evolution as a soul, even on the other side, as we do here. But we get a much broader idea and understanding about ourselves and how we treat other people and ourselves, and it's very much this sense of you start to understand how all this works, much more so than you would when you're here in the physical world. So that's another misunderstanding that I have also heard recently, and I just want people to realize that that's not the reality. That's our own minds interpreting. So that's what I'll say about that. And then as far as other misconceptions, there's misconceptions about the spirit world in general, about fearfulness, about evil spirits and all of that. And as I was just saying, we come from a place of love. That is in our essence of who we are. Our soul is love. That's who we are, and that's where we go back to. So this idea that there are evil spirits or demons or all of this sort of thing, that really comes from religious dogma, that comes from scary movies, that comes from this, again, misconception of our minds not understanding what we're experiencing and then coloring it to be scary. So that's really what that is. I again have never experienced anything negative. I've never experienced anything that made me feel fearful, nothing like that. Because as a trained medium, I know, again, to stay neutral. I know that when a spirit person comes and makes me feel something in my body, whether it's a compression in my chest that squeezes, or whether it's a feeling of this sort of squeezing around my neck, or if there's another sensation that is making me feel as though they had something that was hurting them, or something like that, I know that they're trying to communicate with me to say that this is what happened to them. This is part of their evidence that they're bringing forward. This isn't because they're doing it to me, to hurt me, or to bring me anything like that. It's nothing negative. I know that as soon as I speak about it, as soon as I communicate that to the recipient of getting that information, I know that that goes away. So it's an immediate sort of reaction, and it's because of my clairs. So our clairs is how we perceive information through my clairsentience, which is my feeling. That's how I'm perceiving this information. And if you're very highly empathic, it's very similar. So I'm also very empathic. So just as though if you are receiving information for another person through your own body, it's the same sort of feeling from the spirit world that happens. And learning to decipher what's yours and what isn't is very, very important. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting off topic a little bit, which happens in my mind because my mind works like that. Yeah, so there's just this misconception of fearful things that I just want to alleviate you of, because I don't want anyone to walk around being fearful of the spirit world or their experiences with the spirit world, or being fearful of wanting to connect with a spirit person, because there's nothing to fear. That is just an earthly human thing. And I believe that there are many realities, many spheres of life over on the other side, but I don't believe any of them are the pits of hell or anything like that. I have, again, never experienced that. What I have experienced is that when somebody has done things in their life that have hurt other people, they own up to them through the reading. They talk about them and they apologize. And that is part of their own healing, their own growth on the other side, being able to recognize what they've done and be able to make amends and just apologize for those things. And so that's what my experience has been. And as well as my mentors, who together have had, I think, 70 years together. You know, one of them has had over 40 years, the other has had 14 years, and then it's just, and another one, I think another 40 years. So I think we're even more than 70 years here at that point. Yeah, so the point is that there's nothing to be fearful of when it comes to the spirit world. There's nothing that you need to be worrying about when it comes to that. And if you have had scary experiences, I understand that. It's not to discount your experience. It's to say that your perception, your interpretation of it is because you didn't understand. So it's not to say, no, you're wrong. I don't believe you. It's not that. It's to say that if you go back and think about it, if you go back to your experience and you're able to be more neutral about your understanding about it, I have a feeling that you would be able to not be fearful of it. So that's what happens with that. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And also I want to tell you guys that I'm going to be doing a Instagram live with Travis Sanders, another medium friend of mine. And we're going to be spilling the tea about spiritual stuff, about mediumship. And there's going to be question and answer. So come with your questions. And that is going to be next Wednesday, June the 24th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time or 6:30 Eastern time. So I hope you come and join us over there because that will be fun. So I will see you guys later. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please drop them below in the comment box. I'd be happy to answer your questions and connect with you. If you'd like to find out more about me or book a private reading for an evidential psychic or mediumship reading, go to meganalisamedium.com. And I'm excited to connect with you guys and just do more videos and talk about mediumship and spirituality and all that stuff. So see you guys soon. Bye.